Yay, happy Monday, Inspire Beauty. I am going to seriously just dive right into the meat and potatoes of tonight's call. There's a fly like in my house that I just can't get rid of lately, you guys. So I'm going to be like talking with my hands a lot tonight, obviously. Yes, go remind your teams that I know it's daylight savings and I know that it gets dark early and we just want to hibernate. I get it. But this whole month is going to be so good. So let me share my screen. We are talking all month long about social media. Okay. And I kind of, when I was a few weeks ago, when I was in Milwaukee, visiting Kristen, we did an action hour on a Tuesday where we really just worked on sharing and crafting our story for pretty much the full hour. And it was an eye-opening experience for me because I realized then as I was starting to kind of go to your social media pages and just check to see what's going on, I started to realize that we're not sharing the way that we maybe have been in the past for some of us. Some of us have never really shared much. And that in general, I think we tend to keep it very surface level, which was eye-opening, surprising to me because you guys have me, you have an upline coach on this team that literally like doesn't stop talking and doesn't stop telling all the things, right? Like I literally get it from my grandma. So if you're like, why does she never stop talking? How can she still keep sharing stories? That's my grandma. I can thank for that. But I really naively thought that because I'm comfortable on social media, sharing my story and marketing and all the things, I kind of just thought, monkey see, monkey do, right? And then I started really digging deep and looking, and I was like, wow, no, I'm missing the mark. I need to train better. This is not a skill that I started with, my friends. When I started this business 8 years ago in October, and even 8 years ago in November, I didn't even have an Instagram account, you guys. It did not exist. I mean, Instagram existed. It didn't exist for me. That's how much I was not on social media. And it wasn't until December, so in about a month, that I finally made an Instagram account. And if you ever want to have fun, just to like really see my growth on social media, scroll all the way back. Like go all the way back to my very first post. And I promise you, it's pretty comical and pretty terrible, as it should be, right? And the evolution and the growth is the name of the game. And so many times I see people stop themselves because they're like, oh, I could never do what you do on social media, or, I'm afraid of people judging me or people's opinions, or I can't put my story out there just yet because I don't want to offend someone, or whatever that might be. I know that excuse, because that's what that is holding you back from your potential. I also know when I started to dig deep that there's a connection between what is being shared on social media and your return on if people want to join you or not. What I've noticed is that the coaches who are consistent with Success Club have a different vibe on their social media than the coaches who are clawing every month and just coming up short and feeling frustrated. And I know that we're inviting. That's what we're working on every Tuesday, right? And you have plenty of opportunities for inviting. I know that that's happening. You're sharing your trackers. So why are these people not wanting to join? I think it belongs on social media. So that's kind of what we're going to dive into this month. It is a long-winded conversation. There's so much to it. So tonight we're really going to do a lot of auditing on our social and looking at how we're sharing versus maybe coming across as selling. Okay. So the first thing I want to peek at and really talk about is your storefront. Your social media is your storefront. You guys, if people don't know that you are selling something or that you have some service for people or that you're offering something, you don't have a business. Think about the CEO of Starbucks. If he was sitting in his kitchen every morning and he just took a sip of coffee on his social media every morning, and it was just like a boomerang of him taking his sip of coffee, and he was like, and this is so ironic because Starbucks says it, but it's like that first sip feeling, right? And that's all he said every day. Everybody would be like, good for you, right? Frankie says hi. They'd be like, good for you and your coffee. Hold on. Hi. All right. He literally has been napping the entire day, right? This is my life. Okay. If he was taking his sip of coffee every morning and that's all he shared, a boomerang of that, and then he went on with his life and shared nothing else, you'd be like, that's great for him. I hope he enjoys his coffee every morning. But you wouldn't be buying it. He has to open up a store, turn the open sign on, and have people there selling something and offering a service, right? And this is no different, you guys. You are in a business and you are selling something. And I, for a very long time, was like, oh, I'm not a salesperson because I'm a teacher. I'm a teacher, so I'm not in sales. BS. Teachers, by the way, are the best salesmen I've ever met, because you have to sell your freaking students every day on why they need to listen to you, why they should do their homework, why they should care about math. Every day you are selling your students. And then you have to sell your parents on why they should like you as a teacher and why you should build a relationship. Like, you are in sales. It doesn't matter. Every one of you are in sales in some way, shape, or form. Why? Because we're always wanting to sell ourselves. We want to feel seen. We want to feel significant. We want to feel supported and surrounded. That is human nature. That is sales. You're selling yourself to other people all day, every day. Dating, sales, right? Like, all of it. So I want you to be crystal clear. Like, when we talk about selling and sales, every person is trying to sell something, right? So let's get down to the nitty gritty of what your storefront looks like. And I've really spent some time lately revamping what my storefront looks like when someone comes to my page. This is so important, because tomorrow when we sit down to expand our network, what is the first thing someone's gonna do? Drop it in the chat. What's the first thing someone's gonna do when you request or you follow them or you request to follow them? What are they gonna come do? You're gonna check out your page. Heck yeah, look at your page, watch your story, look at your bio, profile. Yeah, they are going to look at you. They're going to decide, right? Again, sales, they're gonna decide, is this person worth it? Should I follow them back, right? They're going to look at you first. Like it or not, that's what's gonna happen. And so if they come to your page and they don't even know what you look like because it's a grainy picture of your cat from 6 years ago, then that's a problem, right? If they get to your page and they don't automatically know what you are about, oftentimes it's going to be a no. They're probably not going to follow along. The reason people would follow you back and come back and say, oh yeah, okay, this person looks cool, let me follow their account, is because there's something you have in common. There's a commonality, right? So when they come to your page, profile picture, it should be of you and it should be crystal clear. My friends, that picture that you see right here, this little picture, I took behind my head. I told you my secret. I've told it to you before. This little clicker was behind my head, and I had a tripod with a selfie set on it. And it's literally in front of a wall right there. That the only reason it looks bright and vibrant is presets. So all of you are capable of taking a day when you have your hair done, your makeup's done, and you're feeling yourself. On that day, you need to snap a new profile picture if you don't have a solid current one that's up to date, right? Okay, your bio should, back in the day, okay, if I had been doing this training even just 2 years ago, maybe, I probably would have told you, hey, Bridget, tell me 5 things about you. And then she'd be like, well, I love beer. I love Christmas, right? I love my family. I love swearing. I love camping. Okay, that would be Bridget in a nutshell, right? And so we'd be like, okay, Bridget, that's what you should put on your bio, and put like a little emoji next to it, right? So everybody knows that when they come to Bridget's page, this bam, 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 this is what she's about. I would no longer advise new coaches to do that. And so this is where my training is like getting revamped and up to date, because at this point, I think when I come to somebody's bio, I want to know about them. I want to know what I'm going to get from them by following them. Am I going to get recipes? Am I going to get inspiration? Am I going to get DIYs? Like, there are very specific reasons people follow accounts. And so your bio should include what you talk about on your page and what you want to attract back. But I also think your bio should include who you're serving. So for me, the very first little tagline here, you guys, is becoming my best self and inspiring you to do the same. That's what I'm serving. You're going to see me every day working on me, working on being my best self, and I'm working on inspiring you to also take ownership and do the same. Some people say that they help busy moms, get back to feeling confident in their skin. Some people say they help teachers take care of themselves instead of being teacher tired. I don't know. I don't know what you do, but you need to figure out, who do you serve? And most likely the person you're serving is who you were a couple steps back, maybe a year ago, maybe 5 years ago. If you're newer in your journey, then maybe recently when you said, who were you before you said yes? Most likely that's who you're serving and what you're doing. Okay. And then in terms of what I talk about on my page and what I want to attract back, I share a couple little bullet points, but it's not the same as I would have advised years ago, where it was like, these are the 5 things I love, right? For me, I'm a teacher turned online health coach. I'm a wife and a fur mama, and I love food and design, and motivation, recipes, and more. They can click right here. Your page should have some sort of cohesive variety. And really what I mean by that is connectedness. So the presets that you choose, right? When Annie talked about this at Summit, your presets, they're all going to take you in kind of the same color scheme. So that's going to be helpful there. But when I say like variety, I don't mean like all over the place, but I mean that it shouldn't just be the same picture every single day of the same angle, the same background, and the same, you know what I mean? Right. And so if, let's say, for example, this picture of me in the mirror, every day I took a same picture of it and put it on my page, after a while, it would get very boring. You want some variety, right? So thinking of angles, poses, backgrounds, you guys, I have a collection in my Instagram. Whenever I see a pose or a caption that I really love, I save it to that collection so that I can go back later for inspiration when I don't have it. So if you don't have a collection in your Instagram for inspiration for posts, make sure that you create one, okay? Take a note right now to yourself that that's on your to-do list. I'm always auditing myself. I'm always asking myself, would I follow me? I'm always looking at my pictures and saying, is it cohesive? Is there enough variety? Am I, do I have a lot of transformations all over the plate, right? Is it all just recipes that I've given? Like, that's not me. If I was a food blogger, then of course, recipes galore for sure, but that's not me. And I don't want that to look like that, right? And so you have to decide what your niche is and what you're trying to say. And if at this point you're already overwhelmed and you're like, that's already a lot, Brittany, good. Because here's the problem. You can't serve people if you don't know who you want to serve. And so maybe you're not hitting Success Club because you're all over the map. And so it might behoove you to take the hour instead of inviting tonight, and take an hour instead and get yourself really centered on who you're trying to serve, what you want to attract back to your page, and what you're specifically talking about, because this helps you make better decisions when it comes time to, what do I post or how do I share this? There's certain things I'm just not going to talk about on my page because it's not part of my brand, right? Another audit question to ask yourself is, does someone know how to join you? Do they know you offer a service? So if they come to your story or they come to your page and they're like, wow, she works out and she's got kids, super cool, I love her. But they don't know that you help moms get back to their confidence after baby, then it's a missed opportunity. Simply put, do you have a link on your page? If a stranger came to my page right now, they would know how to get in contact with me simply by clicking my link, right? And so part of your audit, profile picture, maybe revamping our bios, but also adding a link to our bio if we don't have one. Guys, that's so critical. And I love to use Linktree. It's hard to see on here, but it's linktr.ee, Linktree. There's like a period between the TR and the EE / and then it creates a link for you. But I like using Linktree because I can put multiple links on one link. So when they click on this, they can sign up for my midweek motivation newsletter. I can grow my email list that way. They can enroll for my next boot camp. They can join coaching that way. My Amazon affiliate links are on there. You know, like I'm able to put a bunch of things in one spot. So make sure that if you don't have couple things, if your page is private, it needs to become public as soon as possible. And if it's public, it should be a business page of some sort so that you can have links and things and insights and things that business pages have, okay? All right. And then asking about the pics on your feed, is it cohesive? Are you giving value 80% of the time you share? And we're going to talk about this tonight. So content. How do I come up with content? How have I always come up with content? And I was actually thinking about it. You know, back in the day when I first started, there was no Instagram story. There wasn't anything like that. It was just static posts. And so we were told as coaches, you know, like my coach told me, you should post at least 3 to 5 times a day on your page. Now, remember, stories didn't exist. And then when stories came around, it was like, oh God, I have to post like all day, every day, 24 hours a day. Like, do I ever put my phone down? And it was like so nerve-wracking when that happened, because I was so used to posting 3 to 5 times a day. And if you go back in time, you can actually see that my feed used to kind of be like what you see in my stories. In the morning, I'd share my motivation and I'd share some sort of personal development. You'd see my Devo in the morning. You'd see my workout in the afternoon. And then usually by evening, I'd do a call to action. And that was kind of the rhythm I had every day before stories happened. And so content for me, I was forced to create a lot of content every day. Now we say, oh, you know, try to post once a day on your feed. And I think truthfully, that death by fire for me was what helped me just get out of my own way and be more confident on social, because I had to post that many times a day to be visible. There weren't other options. I think now we hide behind our stories. If I'm being completely honest with you guys, I think our team has a habit of hiding behind our stories, but my friends, stories are the worst views right now. So you're hiding behind something that's not actually giving you the best return on your investment. And I think we hide behind it because it goes away. It's really quick. It's a quick win. And so we feel like we've moved the needle, but I think we're missing the mark. And so I'm challenging you, if you're not creating at least one piece of content every day that sticks on your feed, that's your challenge. 80% of your content should be connection and value-based, things that other people can connect with you on, okay? And then 20% of it calls to action. So if you're looking at like this feed and I've got 9 here, for every 9, 10-ish, only 2 of them should really be a call to action, okay? And truthfully, out of all 12 of these, this is the only one that's an actual call to action. There are ones that involve my story with Beachbody and fitness and coaching and things like that. They involve that, but they don't actually have a solid call to action. This is the only one that I'm like, click the link in my bio to join me, right? So I think connection-based, you guys, is where it's at. I'm going to be talking about this on a separate week, but 3 types of posts that we use are posts that provide value, posts that we call viral, and vulnerable posts. A viral post, you guys, would be like a static quote like you see here in this Pinterest board. It's like shareable content. And I like to think reels can be viral as well. Value can be educational, it can be inspirational, it can be motivational, it can be a recipe, it can be a workout that you're sharing, it can be value of like a DIY, it can be anything that you're interested that's providing value, okay? And vulnerable posts are where we share our story. That's where we share the pieces of us that allow other people to say, wow, okay, I see myself in her story. So like I said, 1 post in your feed a day and 10 stories a day. My friends, a lot of times I'm seeing only like 3 or 4 stories a day from you guys. It's not enough. When it's only 3 or 4, at that point, what I'm seeing is look at me. And we're going to talk about this in a second, but I don't want you to be a look at me kind of tribe. I want you to be the kind of tribe that's like, let's do this together. Come with me, not look at me, right? And when it's just your one workout post, and then, maybe you shared your win the morning clip, and then maybe you shared like I don't know, inspirational post that you saw and you reshared it, and then you share the team training, and those are the 4 things. That's very look at me. It looks like everybody else on social media. What we have to start switching is that you are a business owner on social media and you are selling something. So how would they show up, right? There's a different energy. So if you've never done the color wheel exercise, that's a great exercise to do. It's in the new coach training and you have access to that. But basically making a list of all the things you love. That's what you talk about. That's how I get content, is based off of things I truly love. I get ideas from personal development. I have aha moments when I'm from my workout and from my journey. And you guys, it comes from not being on my journey, but being in my journey. I hope you see a difference. You can be on the call right now, or you could be in the call right now, right? Like taking notes in the chat, like nodding your head, that's in the call, or you could be on the call, right? And the same thing, you could be on your journey, you could be doing your workout, but are you in it? Do you have your ears and your eyes open to what they're saying today that you could utilize and say, oh my gosh, you guys, I have a dry erase marker in my workout room, and maybe this will help you too. But on the mirror, okay, if you have access to a mirror, on the mirror, when someone says something, if Wallace says something and I'm like, oh my gosh, holy geez, that's a post. I take my dry erase marker, I'm like panting and like, okay, I'll catch up in a second. And I write out the quote, and my mirror is getting filled up with all these quotes right now. I need to like wipe it down soon, but they're ideas, they're aha moments from me in my journey that I'm able to later take and make into content. You can create a Pinterest board. This is a Pinterest board that I made way back when I started, and it was just motivational quotes that helped me create content when I wasn't confident in myself. So I pulled it, right? I'd take something like this: inhale confidence, exhale doubt. And I'd use that as the tagline to start. And then I'd go on with maybe talking about confidence that day, of how I was building confidence with my workouts, or confidence with, my community. I don't know what it was, but I would take the inspiration from Pinterest, you guys, and I would put it into a board, and then I would put it into action. You could also do that with an Instagram collection. What's so funny is right here, I don't know if you guys can see, but this is actually my picture from my blog. And it's so funny, I just noticed this. It's my Shift Shop marker, and it says inhale confidence, exhale doubt. Look where I got it from. So like, seriously, I literally would take the inspiration from Pinterest and I would recycle it into content for my page, right? And then documenting your day. So again, I can beat this dead horse like until it's freaking black and blue, but you can't just post your morning workout clip anymore. It's not enough, my friends. And I'm so proud of you. Like, when we're taking our preferred customers or our customers and trying to instill coach behaviors, that's one of the first things you're going to challenge a newer coach or a newer PC or a newer customer who's rocking their journey to do, right? The first thing I would do as a coach is I'd say, oh my gosh, you're crushing it in our bod group. I can't believe that you finished 6:45. I'm so proud of you. Are you up for a challenge? Because this next program, I think every day you should share a workout clip in your stories. And then you can challenge your customers. You can challenge your PCs to instill coach behaviors before they're ready. But my friends, if you're on this call tonight, you're a coach and you do coach behaviors. And the coach behavior is not just posting a workout clip. That's not enough. That behavior of only posting a workout clip is reserved for people who are too afraid to be coaches yet. You guys aren't those people. So we have to grow out of that and evolve. So a couple things with value. I love to share value because for me, the value I share is how I build relationships. We talk about connecting on social, and connecting, a lot of times people can be like, well, I sent happy birthday messages and I loved on Susie's whole, last 6 months of posts. Like, that's connecting, right? And it is. But another way I connect with people is I create content that connects us, right? So when I'm building content, my idea is not always just to, share a story or inspire, but sometimes I want to just flat out pour value to somebody that I know they're going to go ahead and take it and use it. So tips and tricks. You guys all have tips and tricks that I don't even know, because that's the cool part about our team. Like, what's unique about me and the tips and tricks I have are going to be completely different than what you have, and the world needs it. So you have to start thinking about, what do you know that you could share? Advice. I can't give a single lick of advice to a mom, whether I think I can or not. Not in her shoes. Not going to even touch that with a 10-foot pole, right? I can't do it, but I can fly on the coats of the other moms in our groups, but you guys can. Hey, mom. Hey, mamas, here's some advice for when your kid's teething. Here's some advice for when, I don't know, daylight savings. Don't sleep schedules get like really thrown off with kids? Because I'm pretty sure they do with adults, right? So like, think about stuff like that. What are what's advice that you can give? Again, you can find some of this stuff on Pinterest or on a social media search and then save it and revamp it for your own. Andrea had reached out to me earlier and was like, is it bad if I take a post and like redo it? And I'm like, bad? No, like it's so good. If I see a post and I'm inspired by it, the first thing I think is, how can I make it my own? Absolutely. Fave things you love, right? As this time of year happens and I start decorating for Christmas or whatever, if I find something at a store, I'm going to tell people, guys, that's selling. Hello. Every time I go to Target and I tell somebody I got this at Target, I'm selling for Target and I get no commission. I want you to like really wrap your head around that. All day, every day, you will recommend books. You will recommend movies. You will recommend skincare. You will recommend leggings from Amazon. You'll recommend everything. And not a single one of those companies, I'm certain, gives you a kickback. Unless, of course, you're an affiliate, and that's a different conversation. But I'm pretty sure you are not getting kickbacks. I don't get kickbacks from Hobby Lobby, and I give them so much freaking business all day, every day. All I'd like is if they just tag me back. Like, come on, Hobby Lobby, right? Like, I get nothing. You know what I do get, though, is I build relationships with people. And so as you find things that you love, share about it. Recipes, hacks, motivation, and inspo that got cut off, tutorials, things you know how to do and know how to do well. Like if you know how to fold a fitted sheet, do a tutorial because I need it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know how to do that. And I'm putting my hands like this because I feel like that's what you're supposed to do. You put them in, I don't know, but like tutorials, I would watch that. If you know how to fold a fitted sheet and do the thing, like I'm here for it. And then this is just a best practice that I do, you guys. So whenever I share something of value, like a recipe that I know is going to be something that people will want, right? Again, not just once, but again, I do a couple of things. Number one, I put the recipe out there, I have it out there, right? But number two, I engage and comment back with anybody on my feed or in my stories that loves it. And number three, I always share it to my stories. Funny enough, this recipe for burger salad, I'm making this week. I guarantee you the day that I make it, I'm not going to walk people through my tutorial. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to reshare this post again. Why? Because it's going to put more eyes back on it. I'm getting new followers, right? If I'm doing my job, I'm constantly growing my following. And if I'm doing my job too, those people maybe weren't around when I first shared it. So now they get to see the recipe. So I think sometimes too, in our stories, we think we have to have this like content that's like, oh my gosh, like every day I have to create all this new stuff. No, on Wednesday, when I have my burger salad, I promise you that I'm going to reshare this to my story and bam, I just gave value. I shared a food tip. I gave a recipe, bada boom, bada bing, right? So we got to work smarter, help your content work for you. It is okay to reshare content multiple times and in multiple different avenues. In fact, it's smart. So fun fact, people retain 65 to 70% of information shared via stories. When I tell a story, more people, 65 to 70%, are going to remember it. On the other hand, only 5 to 10% of information is retained when you hear facts alone. Can anyone, and I'm just going to like look at your faces real quick. Can anyone just nod yes? Can you remember what I trained about on team call 2 Mondays ago? I see your eyes going into the sky. Yeah, no, you don't remember. You don't remember a single thing I freaking said 2 weeks ago. Okay, can you nod your head? Yes. Can you remember a story I've ever shared with you? Is there a story that I've shared with you that comes? Okay, yeah, immediately. See, y'all don't, I'm the freaking Charlie Brown teacher, right? Womp, 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 womp. And you're not even going to remember any of this content tonight. You're probably just going to remember this moment that like, oh, I remember stories. I don't hear facts. So when we show our workout clip only on our stories, that the reason no one is joining you from that workout clip is because it is a fact that you're doing your workout today, and that's nice for you. But when we can take that same workout clip and put a story on it, all of a sudden people connect to us, people retain it. People are like, oh, what's that workout, right? All of a sudden people see it differently when it's not just about us. So we're going to talk about sharing. Number one, with sharing, I want you to make it personal. Like I said, this whole month, we're going to be talking about social media. So we're going to dig into storytelling and things like that. But for tonight, I just want to kind of pick your brain so that you're really starting to, in the next week, before we come back again and continue the dialogue about social media, I want you to start practicing this. So using your personal experiences in your stories helps people understand why you love, why you do, and why you use the things you do, right? So, for example, a newer coach, I would say, instead of having all the facts, nobody wants to know every fact or detail about body or energize. What they want to know is why you love it. So right now, drop a reason in the chat. Why do you love body? What's one thing you love about body since it's launched? Variety, always different. Energy, group feel. Scenic cycle rides. That was hard for me to say. Yeah, mixing up the routine. Yeah, you shake it up, a little different, adding in these spin classes too to your mix. Cool, no pun intended. So right there, easy, reasons you love body, right? So anytime you go to take a body class, give a reason why you love this. Why did you sign up for the class today? What are you trying to accomplish, right? What is convenient about this? What is helping you on a day that you're not feeling motivated? Did it help you that you were on the podcast? If you weren't feeling motivated, did it help you that you had to sign up for a slot and you felt like you didn't want to miss the appointment you made, right? Like, I don't know what that is for you, but you do. And so instead of just sharing that you did a body class, why did you do the body class? Why do you love the class? Why did you do the thing you did? Okay, drop in the chat, energize. Why do you love it? Why do you love energize? Why does everybody need energize in their life? Annie said with all caps that it gets her going. So I have zero doubt. Gives me the boost in the AM. Mom energy. Hello. Tastes great. Keeps me going all day. It helps your morning sickness. Bridget. Okay, Bridget, in the chat, Honest Hour, have you ever shared that in your stories? That energize is helping you with morning sickness? Okay, exactly. Are you seeing here? But do you think, Bridget, that there are other people in the world that have morning sickness right now? 100%, 100%. You guys, there is this myth out there, and I'm so sick of it. And someone's going to like at me, like they're going to take just a clip of this YouTube training and they're going to at me. I know it, but there's this myth out there that if you have a child growing in your stomach, that you should be stagnant on a couch for 9 months and that you should just eat whatever the heck you crave, even if it's crap food. Like that's what society thinks we should do. And I'm like, we've got to break this myth that you can move your body when you're pregnant and you can bless your body with healthy foods, even if you're craving other stuff, right? Like, this is insane to me. No one bats an eyelash, my friends. Has anyone ever asked? I don't know. I don't think anybody's ever asked. But if I saw a woman eating Taco Bell and she was pregnant, I would not say, do you know what's in that? Did your OBGYN approve that Taco Bell? I would never. But do you know how many pregnant women are like, whoa, Shakeology. I got to see if my OB will approve it. I'm sorry, did you ask your OB about Taco Bell last night? Because I'm pretty certain that's death. Like, right? Like, my mind just is blown. But what I'm trying to get at, you guys, is there's people out there that need to be educated. That you can drink Energize and be pregnant. And guess what? It's actually helping with my morning sickness. So there. Because now the woman that's having morning sickness that's watching you, Bridget, is going to be like, well, I need some of that because this is not good over here, right? We've got to start sharing why we love the things we do. And I love, Bridget, that it's in the season you're in, because in different seasons, there might be different reasons you love Energize. Kristen loved Energize last week for a totally different reason than what she normally loves Energize for, because we have ingredients in our supplements, you guys, that literally heal the body from the inside out. It's incredible. Okay, so basically, you guys, with anything in this business, Shakeology, bod groups, coaching community, going to summit, live events, I don't care, but you can always find reasons why you love it, use it, do it, right? So making your story about, make it about your story and why you love and use the things you do. Make it personal. The reason I love what I love isn't going to be the same reason that you love it, and that's okay. We think often about when we're talking about crafting our stories, what our motivation for saying yes was. But I find that I'm constantly revamping this because there was a start date for me where I said yes to joining Beachbody. But then there's been so many yeses all over and over and over again in line in the sand moments. I think of it like waves in the ocean, right? And it's like I draw a line in the sand and this is my story. This is my starting point. And then kind of like life happens and the waves come and the line gets blurred and I draw the line again and here's my line in the sand. And so maybe there's been times in your journey where you've said yes all over again, or there's been a whole new meaning to your yes because it's a new season of life, right? Or you got hit with a new circumstance, or your job changed, or whatever. Maybe, there was a season where I was planning a wedding. I'm no longer planning a wedding. So that's not a part of my brand anymore, right? So like life ebbs and flows. So your story is allowed to do that too. So you have to constantly be thinking, what is my motivation for saying yes right now? What was my motivation? What is my motivation? And then there's a story underneath your story every time, right? Case in point, I said, why do you love Energize? And I heard something I haven't heard from anybody before, is that it helped with morning sickness. There's a story under Energize. So instead of the surface level, here's my, mama juice. Why? Why do you love it? Why is it your mama juice? What do you do? What does it do for you? And what do you love about it that other things maybe wouldn't do for you, right? How does taking care of how does taking care of you solve problems in your life? How has it solved problems in your life? Right? I know for me, I used to be the yo-yo dieter. That was that was who I was when I started, right? Or I would punish myself for the things I ate the night before, and I get on the treadmill and I just punish myself with cardio. Now taking care of me is a whole new meaning, right? I'm no longer that person. Chains have been broken from that. And so who are you on the other side of that decision? And you guys, every day you're made new on the other side of that decision, because every day you're showing up yet again, and you're getting better and better and better, even if you don't feel like it yet, right? And this is why we make it personal, because when we make it personal, you guys, other people begin to see themselves. Other people begin to see themselves in our stories when we get more personal about what's going on. And I know sometimes you're like, oh, I'm just so nervous that so-and-so's going to say something, or this person watches my story, or this. At the end of the day, I've lived in that place where I was captive by worrying about what other people thought. And this is a much more freer place for me to live. I'm happier, I'm healthier, right? And so when I find myself falling into that trap of, I don't want so-and-so to judge me, it's like, someone's going to judge me anyway. Might as well be them, right? Next, make it relatable. So the way you post on social should allow others to know you and relate to you better. This is what I'm talking about with the connection. Okay. And why I said that, the connection, not just, hey girl, I love your dog, so cute. Not that kind of connection, but like making your story connect with others so that they're the ones that come into your inbox and say, oh my gosh, I felt like you were talking to me. That's when people are going to join you, because people do business with people they know, like, and trust. You guys, I follow this account on Instagram. I found her, she's an influencer account, whatever. She is my favorite. She's my freaking favorite. And I love her. And I watch her every day. And I wish we were best friends, truthfully. It's a stranger on social media, and she renovated an inn, and I love her. And I love the way she shows up to her marriage. I love the way she is a mama. I love the ideas she has. I love the way she is inspiring on social media. And the other day she posted about the skincare line she uses with her code, and I bought it. Because you know what? I don't know her left from right? She doesn't know me either. But the way she shows up in social makes me want to buy anything she's selling, because she just gives so much value. So this comes, you guys, from giving more than asking. Are you giving your people? Giving content, value, recipes, freebies. There was a time in my business, I don't do it right now currently, but there was a time that if anyone ever said no to me or ghosted me and didn't reply, I'd give them something. If they said no, I'd say, oh my gosh, I totally get it. I can circle back and keep you in the loop for later dates. But in the meantime, here's my favorite recipe this week. And then I give them a link to whatever blog, it was on, whether it was my blog or someone else's blog. I'd give them a recipe link. Let me know if you try it. Or if somebody doesn't reply to me, hey sis, I know it might not be a great time for you, but I don't want to leave you empty-handed. Here's some of my workouts that we've been doing in the sisterhood, right? You have access to sample workouts. Give them a sample workout. What are you giving people? And this also comes, people know, like, and trust you when you share the full journey versus the highlight reel. I think about HGTV. And with HGTV, could you imagine if you turned the episode on and they showed you the house before, and then 30 seconds later, they just panned over to the after shot? I feel like I'd be gypped, right? You'd be like, well, what happened in the middle? We want to know, I want to know the drama and the one thing didn't work out well, or, that thing broke, or there was something that cost more money than they thought, you want to see the stuff that goes wrong. And so some of us are too afraid to share the icky stuff, but that's the stuff that people relate to. That's when they feel like they can know, like, and trust you. People want to see the full episode. They don't just want to see the before and after. And truthfully, if you're having a hard day, that's more of a reason to go on social media and share a message out of your mess. In a world filled with highlight reels, let's be different. That doesn't mean you go and air dirty laundry on social. That means that you come with a message for your mess. The other day, I had a really terrible morning. My mindset was all over the place. There was still a beautiful piece of gold in that mess. And I took that piece of gold out because my husband did me on me. He said, just do the next right thing. And I was like, I don't know what that is. He's like, you're already doing it. You have your workout clothes on. You're reading your Devo. You're reading your book. Just do the next right thing. That's what got you here. And I was like, I'm so sick of you right now. Why would you say that? But he was right. And so I did the next right thing. And was my mindset fixed after I did my workout? No, I was still having a really day, right? But there was a message in my mess, and I was able to share that. So people can see, okay, she's not always having a great day, right? I've beat this dead horse enough, but your workout clips scream, look at me. And I want us to start screaming, come do this with me. Here's why you would love it. And this includes talking heads. Do you know what a talking head is? It's just you talking on your story. It's the record of you speaking. We have to talk on our stories. You have to talk on your stories. Imagine if you got on this call tonight and I never spoke. Imagine if you got to Summit and you had never heard me speak before. All you saw were clips. It never would have even happened because none of you would have joined because it would have been so weird. The reason that you relate and like the people you do, I guarantee, go to any account that you highly respect on social media, not Beachbody. Find an account of an influencer that you love to follow. I guarantee they talk to you every day. You have to talk to your people every day. Find something to talk about. You guys, I live a very boring life. I am in this house all day by myself, and I do the same thing day after day, like Groundhog's Day. And every day I find something to talk about. And you might have a moment right now where you're doing one of those, yeah, but Britt, your house. Oh yeah, but Britt, you can do, oh yeah, but Britt. And your yeah, buts can just go right on back to your butt, because even just a few short years ago, I was wedged in a corner of an apartment with my desk, my little IKEA made desk in the corner of our living room, doing team calls with my elbows here. I couldn't be like this because I'd hit the wall with my elbows right here. Making it happen, making it relatable, sharing my story, going live on Facebook, doing talking heads, all the things, right? I did it anyway. So you're this idea of oh, she must have it easy, or she has more to talk about. That's just you getting in your own way. That's it. All of us have something that we can talk about every single day. Okay, what is your goal? This is important. Over the next week, I'm going to give you some homework here at the end. And over the next week, we're really going to look at, we're not going to magically be better at posting, but we're going to magically get better at taking action and trying stuff. That's what we're going to do. And so when I'm sharing, I have to ask myself, what's my goal? Because likely your business has multiple goals, depending on your weekly focus. This is why every week on Sunday, it's so important to say, okay, what am I doing this week? And what's coming down the pipeline next week? Where's my focus? Okay. Your focus this week, maybe it's to get new customers and teammates. Perfect. How are you talking about that? How are you advertising? How are you sharing the behind the scenes of that? Maybe it's to increase retention. Maybe you want your current customers and teammates to be active and be in the bod groups, and maybe it's to increase retention. Maybe you want to attract new people, or maybe you're just connecting, relating, providing value to current people. Whatever your goal is that week, you have to ask yourself, why am I sharing this? Right? I'm not going to be sharing about a coach sneak peek this week because I'm not doing a coach sneak peek next week. Next week is my free group. So you're going to see me start to evolve and start talking about my mini challenge, my Blanks and Thanks mini challenge. You're going to see that come into the pipeline because that's my focus. And so that directs my goal and what I'm sharing and why, right? You have to have a focus. And month after month, we do these marketing calendars, not for you to just be like, yay, I think I know what I'm doing, but no, for you to have clarity week by week, every month of what is your focus. So we have to make a plan. For me, it's a little bit of this. I usually, if you go to my page, you'll usually see one motivational quote or shareable post per week. I usually like to do those on Mondays. Typically, I'll have some sort of creative reel house project or maybe a workout reel. I try to put one reel in every week for value. I like organic posts as well, more like lifestyle, like that are more entertainment, like date nights or things with Frankie, or seasonal stuff like Halloween, or, stuff like that. Organic things that happen in your life that I like to think of it like a scrapbook. Like I'd want to be able to remember this, right? A carousel post, you guys, is a post that has more than one picture. Okay. And carousel posts, I think, are really important because if you're posting, if you only have one picture, it only goes through the feed once. Okay. But let's say that Kristen has 3 pictures. And the first time Kristen's picture comes through my feed, I see it, but I don't really look at it. I keep moving on and I scroll. They're going to show me Kristen's post again, but on the second picture. And maybe the second picture is going to cause me to pause and be like, what's that? Double tap. If I don't acknowledge it on the second, they'll show me the third. So here's the thing. Every picture that you add to the carousel just adds that many times that people will see it. So it's just smart for you to not just do one picture, but to have multiple. So some things I'll do is maybe if I take a workout picture, for example, in the mirror after my workout, maybe I do one where I'm like looking at the mirror, and then maybe I do one where like I'm looking down at the phone, and I do those 2, and that's it. Like they're the same picture, but it's just my eyes are looking in different spots, right? It doesn't have to be anything like, earth shattering, but it just gives more opportunity for me to be seen. Typically, I'll do posts like that tell some sort of motivational piece of my story. Okay. I love to add recipes of the week for value. And here's the thing. You have to know it's normal to feel like a broken record. Remember those things that we said make you, you? If and when you go back and you stalk me to the beginning of my time, I promise you that over the last 8 years, the things you're seeing today are still pretty much the same as what you saw 8 years ago. There's things in my life that have evolved, right? But you're still seeing the gist of it. And as my life evolves, I bring that into the story with me, of course, right? But I'm a broken record, you guys. 8 years later, I'm still sharing the same stinking morning routine that caused Andrea to want to join us. Like, you know what I mean? And like, that to me is incredible because I think about that. I'm like, man, it was my morning routine that like caused her to say yes and me sharing it. So why would I stop sharing it? Because maybe somebody who's like another version of Andrea who sees my morning routine is going to be like, yep, I need that. Right. And so I am completely a broken record. Okay. So that's just like like tip of the iceberg, you guys. We've got so much more content in terms of social media to dig into. It's literally a Thanksgiving feast, and all I've done so far is poured the wine and set the table. So we're not even to the appetizers. Okay, but you've got some homework. Here's your homework. This week, I want you to audit your profile. I want you to look at your profile pic. Does it need updating? Figure out when you're going to do your makeup and your hair. Maybe put on a shirt that doesn't have spit up on it, and do the profile picture, right? Okay. Your bio, does it need revamping? Because mine did. Mine did for a long time, and I like sat on it for a while. And here's the thing, mine, I was like having a hard time deciding what I really wanted to say. So I went to some other coaches' accounts that I respect and looked at what they were saying for inspiration, not to copy, but to be inspired, right? And so if you're having a hard time figuring out what do I write about in my bio, number one, you could do an intentional scroll, but you can also come back to the collab and you can say, hey guys, I'm thinking about saying this. What do you think? Or go to a Success Sister and ask, what are things that come to mind? Like, what are the things you know and like about me that I should make sure I include, right? And get a trusted source. Make sure that you in your profile have a link to join you. At its minimum, it should be your Google like questionnaire, right? And then story highlights. Do you have story highlights? And if you do they look like, do they have like a cohesive look to them? Maybe update that, revamp them. For me, it had been a long time since I had done story updates. And so I had some fun with it. I just took a day, and that's kind of what I did that day. All right. Your second piece of homework after you profile audit is to post 5 times before next Monday. 5. Yes, 5. You need to post 5 times. And I want you to find 5 different types of posts. I want you to practice your 5, right? So maybe like, when you go back through the color wheel exercise, think about the 5 things that make you you. Maybe one of them is fitness related. Maybe one of them is a recipe. Maybe one is your family. Maybe you're sharing your story. And then I don't know what your other thing is, right? Bonus points for variety, but right now I want you to take action and not be consumed. 5 times. And then I want you to really lean into posting 10 stories a day that are not just your workout clip. How can you tell think about it, it's called a story. So you are telling a story all day. This is a day in the life of you. So what does it look like from the time you wake up to the time you go to bed, and what's relevant to your brand? What do people need to know about you that makes you relatable? And as you're going, remember to ask yourself, would you follow you? Does someone know how to join you? Do they know you offer a service? Are there a variety of pictures? Is it cohesive? And are you giving value 80% of the time you share versus just join me, join me, join me? Or on the flip side, never join me, and then people don't even know, right? The other thing too, I didn't mention this, but when we're talking about like the 80-20 rule of like 80% should be value and 20% call to action, the same applies to your stories. So if you have 10 stories throughout the day, it's okay if every day you have a slide or 2 in there that are a call to action, because that's 20% of your slides, right? So think about it in that regard too. So here's my thing for you. After you revamp your profile and after you post like, 5 times before next Monday, and you feel solid on your 10 stories, I am so happy to do an audit for you and to give you feedback. But you may not ask me for feedback until you do this homework. So next Monday, I will remind you guys that if you want any sort of profile audits or any Instagram, tips for what I'm seeing after you've tried it for a week, I'm happy to help you. But the thing is, these calls, they all require action. They require you to go and do, right? So that's kind of what this whole month's going to be. I'm going to give you my best practices for social media, but you got to go do them. Yeah, deal? Okay.